Before you listen, understand this. This is not motivation, this is not inspiration, and it's definitely not another empty anime breakdown. What you're about to hear is a formula so sharp it can cut through the illusions you've been living in. If you're not ready to confront the cold truth of how real masterminds plan, you should leave right now. But if you stay, then every second you watch will permanently change the way you think about power, control, and strategy. Don't say I didn't warn you. There's a reason why most men never rise beyond mediocrity, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack a blueprint, a cold formula of planning that separates the ordinary from the untouchable. If you think planning is just about making a to-do list, you're already finished, because Aizen never planned in lists, he planned in layers. Point 1. Your plan must not live in the present, it must exist in multiple futures. Most people only plan for tomorrow. They write down tasks, they daydream about what could go right, but they never prepare for betrayal, for chaos, for collapse. Aizen did. He didn't just ask, "What's my next move?" He asked, "What's my next 10 moves if the entire board flips?" That's why even when he was cornered, it always looked like he expected it. Planning in layers means you create a web, not a line. The average man thinks in straight paths. Aizen thought in networks. If one thread broke, the rest still held strong. Start asking yourself, if everything falls apart, does my plan still have a pulse? If not, you're not planning like a mastermind. Point 2. True planning begins with control of perception. Aizen didn't just act, he crafted illusions, not only in battle but in the minds of people around him. He proved something most men don't realize. People don't respond to truth, they respond to belief. That's why he could sit in the same room as his enemies and still be invisible. Not because they couldn't see him, but because he decided what they saw. That's the mistake most men make. They show too much. They reveal their hunger, their insecurities, their strategies, all through their faces and voices. They think they're being honest, but really they're handing over their entire playbook. Aizen's genius was simple. If I control what you think I'm doing, then it doesn't matter what I'm actually doing. Ask yourself, how much of your planning dies before it's even born, because you can't control your own narrative? Point 3. Detach yourself from the outcome. Aizen could lose a fight and still stand tall because the fight was never the end of his plan. Weak men collapse when their single strategy fails because their ego is tied to it. But Aizen understood a rule most never grasp. Failure is not a wall, it's a mirror. It shows you angles you couldn't see before. Loss is data, not defeat. That's why he didn't flinch when things went against him, because the outcome of the moment didn't matter as much as the direction of the war. You want to plan like him? Learn to stay calm when your plan burns down. Learn to treat every collapse as reconnaissance. The man who panics after one loss will never command respect. The man who stands, still in chaos, is already untouchable. Point 4. Every plan must serve a higher architecture. Aizen wasn't playing games, he was building an empire. His enemies thought they were fighting for survival, but he was orchestrating ascension. That's the difference between men who win temporarily and men who dominate permanently. Most people's plans stop at comfort, a better job, a bigger house, a small victory. But Aizen's every move was a brick in a cathedral nobody else could see. That's why he terrified them, because they realized too late that every small step was connected to a much larger system. And this is where you must ask yourself, are you stacking random wins? Or are you weaving something that will stand when everything else falls apart? If your plan isn't part of a structure 10 times bigger than your current life, then you're just passing time, not building power. Point 5. Your plan is meaningless if you cannot make others move according to it. Aizen wasn't strong just because of what he did. He was strong because of what others unknowingly did for him. That's the ultimate mark of a planner, not how well you move, but how well you make others move for you. And here's the brutal truth. If your plan requires only your effort, it's weak, because the moment you're gone, it dies. A true mastermind infects the minds of others so deeply that they carry out the plan themselves while believing it was their choice all along. Influence is the highest form of strategy. Don't confuse it with manipulation. It's more dangerous than that. It's when they swear they're acting freely, yet every step feeds your vision. That's why Aizen didn't just fight enemies, he converted them into pieces of his machine. Point 6. A plan must terrify you. If your plan doesn't scare you, it's not a plan. It's a comfort zone in disguise. Aizen wasn't feared because he had power. He was feared because his vision was incomprehensible, so massive that even when one stage crumbled, it looked like progress. That's how you know your plan is alive. It's so large that even failure feels like momentum. Most men avoid fear in their planning. They create something safe, small, achievable. But safe plans don't change your life. They chain you to mediocrity. If your blueprint doesn't make you question whether you're capable of it, then it's not worth building. Planning like Aizen means creating a vision so colossal, so cold, that even time itself feels like a servant to your patience. And here's the final truth. Most men will never understand Aizen, not because they can't see his power, but because they're too afraid to demand that much from themselves. They'd rather chase easy wins than face the silence of a plan so big it terrifies them. But if you can embrace that silence, if you can craft a structure so layered that even your enemies move inside it unknowingly, then you won't just be playing the game, you'll be rewriting it.